Last time on Varrick World, in the midst of a crisis, with Marion's secret project area being flooded by a shadowy outside figure, Ghazal Rule, imagine that, our heroes decided it was time to take decisive action to save themselves and also Slim Wicklock, who had been tied up to a chair. After some antics and some quick thinking, all three of the tunnels were closed up to prevent any water from further making its way into the structure, and they escaped through a hatch in the ceiling with a little bit of help from Grandma Halmeoni's friend Loeb Sang of the Northern Air Temple. They didn't quite manage to escape fast enough to find the people who were running off down the hallway, who presumably had been there to help trigger this sabotage, but they went off to a medical tent to help Spider-Batman heal his dislocated shoulder. And once that healing was taken care of, they all took some time to think about what they had observed down underneath Varrick World. Grandma Halmeoni, thinking about the offer that Marion had received to join the Grey Lotus, decided to make an old woman face and also a Marion face, and also steal some of Marion's clothes, and also start working on a voice synthesizer so that she can mimic Marion's voice.
It's roommate stuff.
Just roommate stuff. It's casual. What Marion did, in contemplation of the spirits that he had seen, was think a little bit more about it and figured that if he was trying to incite unrest and fear, he would probably try to incite the spirits to attack the humans and create some chaos. And Chen, as he was out patrolling performing as Nuktuk, found an area where there was some Fire Nation history and discovered a story of two brothers long, long ago, only one of whom could become the Fire Lord, and was able to connect this information back to what he had seen in the tunnels underneath. And later on, we gained more information as Marion went to meet with Professor Ishitako to accept the offer to become a member of the Grey Lotus, wherein she explained that Fire Lord Sozin had the right idea but the wrong blood, and that it was Ghazal Rule, the rightful heir of the rightful bloodline of the Fire Nation, who would be able to actually make good on Fire Lord Sozin's plan to unify the entire world by destroying all of the other governments and taking over himself. Grandma Halmeoni, who had been stalking Marion, just normal roommate stuff, decided that this was enough information that maybe she was not able to take care of it by herself, and she went back to the spirit world to converse with Iroh. She was escorted there by a couple of other spirits who captured her, were not happy about her presence, but brought her directly to the big man himself to be judged. What's going to happen next? Let's find out here in the world of Varrick World. What's shaking, everybody? You're listening to ImpTab Avatar Varrick World, the Avatar Legends actual play where we make up almost everything on the spot. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and today I'm joined by...
Connor Wood, climber of lighthouses.
Justin Porter, a.k.a. JP, and I'm an inner space astronaut.
And Thomas Ryan, I'm back in the pot, baby.
And he's not saying he fell off the wagon or anything. He's actually in a pot.
Yeah, that's right. You were tossed into a bucket by some of these other spirits so disdainfully, and we'll just pick right back up with you having a chat with Iroh.
Oh, man. Okay.
Just casual.
I'm ready for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just normal roommate stuff.
It's like a big fan, Mr. Iroh.
So he brings you over to his table and pulls out the leaf that you had been clinging to and rests it gently onto the table in front of him. And he starts stoking a little fire just to create some warmth. And you see as he does, the mood surrounding you, the skies get a little bit brighter and a little bit warmer. And just this feeling of peace starts to wash over you. And Iroh says, "Tell me then, old friend, why is it that you have returned here? What troubles your mind?"
Well, you see, there's a lot of intrigue and issues on the other side. The Grey Lotus is doing their thing. Do you know anything about them, first of all?
I must admit this is the first I have heard of a Grey Lotus.
It's ridiculous how many lotuses there are now.
Right? One person comes up with strong branding and the next thing you know, everybody's trying to ape off of it.
It is what it is. The problem I'm running into is I don't know what to do about them. They're very clearly a criminal organization. They're trying to take over and get rid of leaders, and one of my friends is working for them, and I don't know what to do about it.
That does seem like a troubling situation to be in.
Give me advice, man. I don't know what to do.
Well, perhaps it would help to advise from your own mind. There are often things which we repress when we go through traumatic experiences which must be unearthed if we are to understand what those experiences have done to us. And he is rummaging through a little chest he's got, and it's full of various herbs for brewing tea and whatnot. And he pulls out a few leaves and says,
The leaves of the ginkgo biloba have long held memory-enhancing properties. It seems that perhaps your memory might be the key to understanding what is happening. The key as well to understanding what happened to you all of those...
Well, how long ago was it that you were kicked out of the spirit world?
Well, I'm only 2 years old, so it had to have been less than 2 years.
All of those months ago.
I'm a grandma. We forget things.
Exactly, which is why this ginkgo would be able to help infuse a little bit of your memory back into you, is my hope at least.
Well, if that's what we have to try, then.
He offers you the old teapot in which you were born and puts you over his little fire and drops in a couple of those ginkgo leaves, and you can feel them starting to infuse inside of you, and you feel the warmth from below, and it's just this incredibly peaceful situation, and you hear Iroh's voice from outside the teapot looking down at you saying,
"Now think back to the day on which it all happened."
You're gonna make me make all this stuff up right now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to find out.
Welcome to Improv Tabletop, where we make up everything.
Yeah, we don't know why Grandma Halmeoni was kicked out of the spirit world, so we're about to find out.
I too do not know, for the record.
Yeah, here, let's set up a scene for you. You are traveling along through the spirit world, and you are doing the job that you were created to do. What is the nature of tea? It is to nourish and to comfort and to warm those who are in perhaps a moment of distress.
Aww.
And this is the reason for which you were brought into the spirit world. Iroh wanted somebody to help go around and to comfort those who might be having a little bit of a hard time. And so you are traveling around and you find yourself in an area of the spirit world where you've never been before because you've been told to stay away. It's just kind of a dour place. And you look over the edge of a precipice and you see this vast canyon roiling off in front of you, full of this dense, thick fog.
I don't want to brag, but that's exactly where I was going in my head.
Nice.
Hey, group mind, baby. That's the improv spirit.
There we go.
I know we're supposed to just roll with it, but I couldn't help it. That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh my, I better go down there. There looks like a lot of lost souls.
Yeah, as you begin moving down in that direction, you see somebody on the side of the path just outside of the reach of the fog. It's this person who is just slumped down, looking very, very tired, the weight of the world on their shoulders, and a face turns towards you, and you can see it appears that one half of the body is covered with like mosses and lichens and stuff, and the other half you see this almost reptilian-looking face and one arm, almost tentacle-like, reaches out towards you, and the voice calls out and says,
"I have become terribly weary here at the edge of this canyon. Can you not offer some sustenance to me in my time of need?"
Oh, I'd be more than happy to. I'll roll up next to him. And do you have a cup or something? I just kind of inch along, so.
He reaches into his pack and he pulls out a roughly hewn cup made of wood, and he says,
"Oh, gracious spirit, if you are offering me something to drink, we could use some liquid. Fog is made of water dispersed into the air. Can you not take of this fog and make some water for me to drink?"
Would you like some tea? I can do tea really well.
"I would love some tea. We have this grand ocean of water that has been turned into fog that you can use to nourish me."
Okay. Sure, why not?
"Yeah, you're only 2 years old. Nobody's told you what this fog is about."
I mean, at this point, I'm only a year old.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm practically new. I'm gonna absorb moisture from the air.
Yeah, you reach out to the fog and you start pulling it in towards you, and you feel some resistance. So you keep pulling, presumably. You've got this person to help.
Yeah, I'll put one tendril into the cup and one tendril out into the fog and noodle my way some water into the cup.
Yeah, you start pulling and pulling. You're straining so hard at this point that you're not really observing what's happening. But as the fog starts to siphon away from the canyon into this cup, this person who is sitting there watching is just raptly attentive at what's happening and sees areas of this canyon floor beginning to uncover themselves as the fog is pulled away. Sees all of these souls down there just full of despair, full of anguish, but as the fog leaves them, they kind of perk up and look around, and you see quite a bit of anger and frustration appearing in the eyes of some of them. Well, he does. You don't actually see this because you're too busy, siphoning the fog off into this cup. But after a while, once you feel like you've made enough of an effort, finish siphoning into the cup, and you tell this man that his tea is ready, and he looks at you, nods gratefully, picks up the cup to sip it, and says,
I believe it would be in your best interest if you go off to a bit of a safer place. Things are about to get ugly around here.
Why are things about to get ugly?
Trust me, young one. You do not know the ways of the spirit world as much as those of us who have been here for a bit longer.
Wait a minute, who are you?
And he turns away and starts walking down into the canyon, and this is the point where you feel your mind starting to twinge sharply. And you hear Iroh's voice from above you saying, Ah, yes, the things which you have suppressed within your mind. Please, let us dig deeper so that we may understand what is happening.
Memory me will follow this guy into the canyon?
Yeah, you have this weird moment where you kind of push against your own body in this memory, and there's this splitting sensation, this almost peeling sensation, as you see the you that actually had this experience follows this man's advice and starts walking away towards a safer place, but you, in this moment, begin following after him, and you see as the hand that had the cup tosses it away, it spills onto the ground far, far away from the canyon itself, and with that tentacle-like arm begins stripping away the moss and the lichens that were covering the other side of his body, and you see what appears to be largely a human, just a regular physical corporeal form walking down into this canyon, and you see the face turn back in the direction that you walked away, and it is a transformed face. One half of the face is completely humanoid, the other has this dragon eel-like countenance about it, going down to his arm as well, and looking at this face now, you remember what Loeb Sang had told you earlier, about Tokuga, the insurrectionist, the dissident. And this is a point where I will share some information with all of y'all from the Turf Wars comics.
Nice.
So if you don't want spoilers for the Turf Wars comics, these were released after The Legend of Korra had finished airing on TV, continuing the story of what happened afterwards. If you don't want those spoilers, maybe don't be listening to this campaign, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But what happened in those comics was there was this guy named Tokuga who was trying to unite all of the triads under one banner and become the leader of the underground in Republic City. And there were all kinds of gang wars that happened because of that. He was trying to get involved with the spirit situation because there was a lot of unrest between the spirits and the humans at that point. And Tokuga at one point had a run-in with the dragon eel spirit. If you remember from the Legend of Korra series, back when they were going through that Avatar Wand flashback, the spirits have the power to possess humans for a little bit and leave them changed. The dragon eel spirit, to defend the spirit world, possessed Tokuga for a little bit and left him changed as well. And he did not like that, but did use the powers he had gained from his transformation to help himself in the turf war, the gang war that was happening back in the physical world. This ended up culminating with Tokuga in a large zeppelin, a large airship above the spirit portal, along with Korra and Asami, as they were trying to stop him from poisoning the entirety of Republic City. He had these huge banks of poisonous gas he was going to drop onto the city. They instead reversed some of the airways so that all of the poison released into the Zeppelin itself, and in order to stop the Zeppelin from destroying Republic City, they sent the Zeppelin into the spirit world through the portal, with Tokuga still in there. After that point, Tokuga escaped into the spirit world. His whereabouts were unknown, but everybody had kind of this feeling of, well, that might come back to bite us eventually, but at least we're safe here in the physical world for now.
Oh boy.
And so you look at this man walking down into the canyon, into this uncovered area where the fog has been dispersed away, and it is Tokuga, it is the man himself. And you see him walk up to this individual who is starting to kind of blink their eyes, trying to regain their senses. And he steps up to them and says, "Tell me, friend, what is your name?" And this woman looks up. You see that she is wearing what appears to be an Earth Nation sort of military-looking uniform, but from way, way back in the day, like before the 100-Year War. She looks up and says, "My name is Taya." And he says, "Tell me, Taya, do you have any unfinished business in the material world?" And she pauses for a moment, and her eyes are darting back and forth as her memories start to flood back. And she starts nodding her head, and her eyes narrow, and her brow furrows, and she says, "Yes, I do have unfinished business in the material world." And he reaches down his hand and lifts her up, and begins walking from person to person, building up this little army of dissidents, people who were sent to the Fog of Lost Souls for a reason. You watch as their anger starts to manifest around them. The way that, our emotions can influence the spirit world around us, you see them starting to take on ghastly visages. You see them becoming a little bit more demonic almost in the way that they look. And if you had gone down the hallway that Marion went down, the one that you were supposed to go down, you might recognize some of those images from the walls as the black lights were flipping on and off of people turning into beasts. And, at that point, you're like, okay, I think maybe I'm starting to put the pieces together here.
Yeah, maybe. Snap back to reality.
Yeah, you see Iroh peering down into the teapot from above you, just one eye looking in through the opening to the teapot, and he says, "Are you doing all right, my friend?"
I really need to get back to the material world. I know I'm supposed to be in prison right now, but there's a lot of spirits and the lost souls, and I'm just going to tell them everything I saw. And I really got to get going. So, can I do like a parole or something?
If what you have told me is true, and I have no reason to believe it is not, for we have just seen it with our own eyes, I believe that you have every reason to be welcomed in full fellowship back into the spirit world. We just need to find Tokuga and stop him before he destroys everything.
Do you know where he is, perhaps?
Not at this moment, but I can start sending out my feelers to see if I can locate him.
All right, well, I'm going to go back to the overworlds in that case. There's a lot of stuff. I gotta talk to some people.
I have to talk to some people as well.
All right.
I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll get this all sorted out. Don't worry.
I'll climb out of the pot, and can I get a ride? I mean, I can walk, but it'll take a while if I walk.
Certainly.
He picks up the pot and starts carrying it with him, and as he steps, it feels like each step he is taking, though his walks are measured and even and at a leisurely pace, you feel the ground rushing past you at a remarkable pace with every step he takes, until eventually you are standing before the spirit portal, and you see those spirits who were harassing you before, see Iroh walking up, and the frog spirit's like, "Ah, yes, did Grandma Halmeoni get what was coming to her finally, that scamp?" And Iroh says,
Grandma Halmeoni did get what was coming to her. Understanding and knowledge.
And he holds up the teapot, and they see you inside of it.
Hello!
They look a little confused for a moment, but then Iroh says,
"We have a different thing to be focusing on right now. Join me. We're going on a search."
I'll talk to you soon. Iroh, I owe you 1,000 thank yous, but they're gonna have to wait. I'll see you later.
And I owe you 10,000 thank yous. I'll catch you on the flippity-flip.
Why does he keep one-upping me? All right, through the portal.
Yeah, so you go slithering back to your cardboard box where you left behind your... You know what, actually, I'm just going to real quick... You find a couple of kids surrounding this cardboard box, looking inside, and one of them got like a stick and is kind of poking at your little mech suit in there.
Can I scare some kids?
How would you like to do so?
I want to see if I can sneak into my suit, and then I want to like... and like zombie my way up and just like all herky-jerky act like a dead guy.
Yeah, let's trick an NPC. Plus creativity.
That is an 8.
Nice.
All right, so they stumble, take +1 forward. They act foolishly, I tell you initial opportunity, or they overcommit, they are deceived for some time.
They are deceived.
Yeah, so they do not notice you slipping into your mech suit here, and the one kid's like, "Maybe we could sell this thing for scrap with some of the triads." And suddenly the finger starts twitching, and the other kid's like, "Wait, did you see that?" And you start rising up slowly, and they scream and start running away in panic.
Oh, the youths of today. I'm going to start sprinting after them. They're going the same direction I am, not because I'm chasing them.
Oh, okay.
It's convenient, but that's not why.
Yeah.
It's a bonus.
So you start rushing your way back to Varrick World. And I believe Marion and Chen, you were using this opportunity to get some sleep because it was very late by the time you were done with all that.
Sleep is definitely something a crime fighter needs.
Yes. Right there at the top of the list, next to a cool suit and a cool sidekick, I guess.
Yeah, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. You stretch, spread your arms wide, go to the door to get some fresh air into your very, very small little studio apartment. And as you look outside, see the sun shining, you notice something on the steps leading up to your apartment. It's a little origami sparrowkeet.
Intriguing. And I pick it up and I slowly unmake it, I guess. I don't know, like just try to...
Unmake it? What did you just say?
No.
Intrigue.
I know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what the word is. I just want to unfold this and read what it says.
Yeah, on the inside, you see what looks like a crayon drawing of a little boy wearing like a headband around his eyes. But there's a little like hastily scrawled in crayon, like some of the letters backwards. It says, "I will help you."
Oh, I read this and I think to myself out loud, I don't know if it's a good idea for a crime fighter to have a kid sidekicked. Like, I feel like that's just so much putting this kid in danger and stuff. I mean, who would do that? I don't know, but I'll keep that in the file, I guess.
All right, so you kind of file that away, and you're getting ready for the fresh new day ahead of you, and we'll meet back up at the HQ in Marion's office.
Can I go to the night before a little?
Oh, yes,
Rest?
yes.
Okay, so
What you got?
I wanna talk about my dreams. So Marion is sound asleep, and there's this noise of consistent shunk, like a whittle on wood. And in his mind's eye, he sees this familiar toy shop, and he is making what looks like part of a little hobby horse. And next to him is Bielinski carving a marionette. Mm-hmm. Now, outside of his mind's eye, he's actually working in his sleep on the closet where the marionettes from the Small World area have been relocated. And he is carving some, we'll say, ghastly or animalistic symbols into these marionettes.
Sleepworking.
Yes.
Man, I love how this is just like so fully ingrained itself into Marion's life. It's like, I sleep underneath my desk. I can't stop working even when I'm asleep.
Bingo.
Welcome to my world.
Bingo boingo.
That's why you're Varrick's big dog.
I feel like that's so unhealthy, but yeah.
I am my work. What can I say?
Yeah.
But yeah, you continue dreaming, and you feel Bielinski's hand on your shoulder, and he says, "You have become very adept at the carving arts, my friend. You have a grand future ahead of you, I am sure."
Thank you, Master. When you say those things, I believe them.
As well you should. Your skills are unparalleled amongst all of the other apprentices I have seen in my days.
Well, I hope I can make you proud.
And you look up into Bielinski's face, and you see the beaming smile looking towards you before you blink in your dream. And you see once again the toy shop on fire, and the smile of his regular face replaced with the smile of a rictus skull glaring back at you. And you feel yourself screaming in your dream as you're trying to escape from this burning toy shop, hearing the laughter of the Triad members outside as they have raided this shop. And I feel like that might be enough to jolt you awake in that moment.
Yes. I snap awake. I look at what I'm carving into the marionettes. I take a deep breath, and I continue carving.
Yeah, and at that point you hear some squeaking noises down the hallway. You're like, oh, yep, Shen's here. Got a big foam head on.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just throw a big old, cloak on these guys and, I don't know, try to, unstink myself a bit. I suppose I'm a little sweaty and got sawdust everywhere, so
Yeah.
gotta deal with this mascot.
And Shen, do you remember to take your head off before you walk through the door this time?
I actually do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Because
nice.
I had a good night's rest the night before, and I slept like a baby.
There you go.
Nice.
And so I just come in and be like, oh, wow, Morning.
Good morning.
Such a great morning. I hope everything went well last night and that you can, be so ready for today.
Yeah, you could say that. I'm drenched in sweat. My hair is greasy. Good morning, Shenshine.
Can I kick the door in right then in my mech suit and say, things are not going well?
Oh, am I awake?
I don't know. Do you see a giant robot just kicked open the door?
Yeah, that's real, huh?
It's me.
Oh, okay.
It's Grandma.
Okay, hey, Grandma. Good morning, everyone.
I'm just like, Grandma? Oh, Grandma!
Yes, Grandma. I'm probably wearing Marion's face right now. I'm going to switch to the Grandma face. Just spin my head around.
Weird way to start the day.
Grandma, as I said.
All right.
I was gonna say, if we were dreaming, I feel like this is my subconscious telling me something really weird. My grandma's a robot, but good thing we're not dreaming, so this is real.
Yeah, how do you think I feel, Shen? That was my face for a second, I think.
Either way, call your Grandma.
Yeah.
Anywho, so here's the deal, and I'll relay everything that I found in the spirit world.
Okay, so we all had weird dreams, huh?
That wasn't a dream. I was there.
I don't know. I tend to not eat fast food before I go to sleep because if I eat fast food before I go to sleep, I have very weird dreams.
I don't eat food.
That's right. You're a spirit. Your existence confirms. Okay, so what happened?
So much. It concerns
Yeah.
so much.
All right, let's take it from the top.
Right.
Tokuga, bad fella, triad nonsense, sent him into the spirit world.
Yes.
So I didn't know, but I may have. So have you heard of the Mist of Lost Souls? Let's start there, or the Fog of Lost Souls.
I have not.
Yeah, in theory, that's so bad.
So, not theory, very real. You go into it, you lose your memories. It's an
Oh.
ancient spirit that it torments, whatever. The point is, I kind of got rid of it, and he's recruited all the people that were lost in it to conquer, here.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know it was him. I'd like to clarify that. It was an accident, but I did do it. Anywho, I think that's what's going on with all the everything.
I turn around and I monologue out loud. I'm like, man, this would be something that Spider Batman should be definitely aware of. Now he has to fight the Grey
I
Lotus.
agree. Spider Batman should know.
You said it, Chen.
And then I turn around. I'm like, oh, good, we're on the same wavelength. Okay, cool.
Group mind.
Group mind.
Chen.
It's just crazy how you guys can always read my mind.
Right.
I love it though.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to toss real quick another potential wrench into this narrative situation here. Grandma Halmeoni, while you were watching Tokuga walk down into the Fog of Lost Souls, you are continuing to kind of scrape your memory, and like as he was removing all of the moss and lichen that was covering his human face, at one point he like kind of tossed up his jacket to get rid of all of the little bits that were encrusted to it, and as he did so, you could see on his bare back, right near the small of his back, a tattoo reminiscent of a gray lotus.
Oh, and I'm just remembering something after I scraped my memory just now. Grey Lotus. He's got it on his lower back, which is the worst place to get a tattoo.
I agree with you on both
Well,
fronts.
that could be a coincidence.
That means he's double evil.
Maybe.
Or has bad choice in where he gets his tattoos.
I wish I could get tattoos, but that's neither here nor there. Anywho,
So there's something incredibly dangerous right on the membrane of the events that have been happening here at the park. So how bad, hypothetically, could this get?
well, he's on his own pretty bad. He's part dragon eel, which is
Yes.
also extra bad.
Dangerous.
And he's recruited all of the... People don't end up in the Fog of Lost Souls for no reason. They're there
Right.
because they're really bad. And he's recruited pretty well all of them. So think of all the bad times bad. And if you multiply some bad into that, it's real bad. We need to get this sorted now, yesterday.
You see Shen's face, and I'm just sweating profusely. And then I start monologuing out loud. I'm like, oh, and Spider Batman has to fight this all by himself. What is going on? There just keeps more and more and more adding. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Yes,
Chen,
that's...
you seem extremely concerned for Spider Batman.
I mean, are you not?
You really like that guy. Perhaps Marion and I should step out of the room for a moment.
Yeah, do you want some time?
Yes. How about you and I, Marion, step into this other room for around 30 seconds?
I'm gonna take a breather.
Yeah, you know what? I think I have to go to the bathroom for real. And I go,
You haven't had to go for real before?
and then I just run out of the room.
Well, that's our Shen.
Spider-Batman doesn't come back because he actually had to use the bathroom.
Oh,
For the first time in history, you can find Chen in a bathroom.
So you all are kind of sitting with these thoughts. Wow, this is some crazy stuff happening, huh?
Yeah.
And you hear a knock on the office door coming from Kimiko's office. The door swings open and she comes walking in. Once again, she's got her mechanist's goggles and is carrying a couple bags of stuff and says, "Hey, today's the day that we have to go do some work at the racetracks, remember?"
Boy, do we! Of course we do! That's why I look like this! I'm drenched in sweat and sawdust and my hair looks like garbage. Because I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Can you give us like 10 minutes, please?
You look like you could use it, yes.
Aye.
Just come and find me once you're ready. You know exactly where I am. I'm right through this door.
I sure could, okay. I'm gonna go to my locker and see if I have like clean change of clothes or whatever, and try to continue to process this massive amount of information that has recently entered my brain.
I'll take his clothes off of my body and hand them to him.
Oh, thank you.
Because I'm currently wearing his stuff.
Yeah, these are totally sweat-free. Who'd have thought? Okay.
I don't sweat.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Lo and behold, put on these oddly clean clothes.
Yeah. Any other stuff that you want to do before you head off with Kimiko to do your job? Your actual 9-to-5 job.
Right. I want to just take a little too long looking at the tarp covering the mannequins and then head on out.
All right. So you start following with Kimiko to the racetrack. And this has been one of the aspects of the park that has been pretty widely lauded as a good thing for the city because, there's these illegal tunnel races that are happening underneath the city and they're very dangerous. And, Varrick hasn't tried to put the kibosh on those because he thinks it's good for, the city's economy to have illegal stuff going on every once in a while. He hasn't said that to the government or the police or anything. But in an attempt to create some tunnel racing scenes that are a bit more palatable for the average person who doesn't want to go to an illegal racetrack underneath the city, he has created this racetrack here in Varrick World. And you arrive there and you can see the cars, the Satomobiles rushing down the track at high velocities, taking turns at incredibly high speeds, drifting. There's like a slow-mo shot as one of the Satomobiles goes drifting around like completely perpendicular to the track, just spraying up gravel and dust as it goes.
Nice.
Kimiko sets down her bags next to the pace car and she says, "So what we're working on today is we're going to try and make it so that this car here can be remote controlled so that we don't have to have an actual person in here potentially getting into the danger of, these races can get a little bit rowdy sometimes. You know that.
Rowdy is a word for it, sure.
Yeah.
There's an explosion off in the distance.
And you look off to the pit crew area and you can see the most recent pace car driver completely bandaged from the waist down in this wheelchair, just sipping on a nice mocha latte. And he turns towards you and gives you a big old thumbs up.
Rowdy, I return the thumbs up.
And so Kimiko pulls out her bags and puts them in the back of the car here and gets in the front and starts working on installing some mechanisms that will turn this into a remote controllable car.
Very cool, very cool. I like the mechanical approach. We could also consider if we had someone, quote unquote, driving it, like a bender, say me, for example, we could get some cylinders with some rocks on it and place them in certain parts of the vehicles, and you bend whichever of the rocks you are trying to, shift the vehicle in.
That's not a bad idea. You know what? We've got this secondary pace car over here. In fact, it just got in from the shop after it went through all of those extensive repairs to basically entirely replace the engine that was demolished during the last race. And you once again peer over at the former pace car driver, and he's just taking a sip on his latte. Not a care in the world. But yeah, this other car comes driving in, and you can see it's very heavily patched up. They haven't repainted over it or anything. It's mostly just a mechanical fix. But she says, yeah, if you want to test out your bending mechanisms in that car here, I can test out the mechanisms in this remote control car, and then we can compare and contrast our results.
Let's try it. Crack my knuckles. I'm gonna start earth bending some various cylinders and pedals and rocks and whatnot, and just get to placing them around the vehicle.
Yeah, go ahead and rely on your skills and training for that one.
Hooah, we rolling. Oh my gosh, that's a 5.
Not too great.
Can I do? It's a pretty primitive idea.
It is. Yeah, you get all of the mechanisms in there, and the entire time, so like at this point, your boss for the day comes walking over, the guy who's like the head of the shop here at the racetrack, and he comes tromping his way over and says, now you see, if you ask me, ain't nothing that can replace a regular old human driving a car. You see, I think this remote control idea is bupkis. I think your idea using rocks is bupkis. I think you're all bupkis.
I'll show you, bupkis. I'm gonna just earthbend a dust cloud at him. I've had a weird day. I don't have time for this.
I just imagine it's just like a sneeze or something.
Yeah, basically from the ground.
Yeah, he starts coughing through the dust cloud and like clawing his way towards you until he's like nose to nose with you, and he says, hey, you're on thin ice there, bud. You hear me? You hear? I'm gonna mention this to Varrick if you're not gonna change your tune, you little canary.
I'll show you a canary. You're on thin ground. I'm gonna make the ground beneath him quicksand. I think I can do that.
Ryan, your skills and training.
Okay. Shisha! Oh my gosh. Okay, I got an 8.
An 8.
I was gonna say, I think you need some sleep
Yeah, right?
for these rolls.
I know, they're not great today.
Yeah, so you suck him down into the ground like halfway, and he is stuck at that point. Like you lose your grip over the quicksand, and now he's just like buried up to his waist in the dirt, and he's just yowling at you. And Kimiko comes over and says, look, maybe can we smooth this over somehow? I'm trying to think of how we can smooth this over.
Yeah, sorry, Kimiko. My rock idea was bad, and this guy came over and called me Bubkiss, so I earthbended him.
So I earthbended him.
Do I have money? I'm gonna check my pockets. I don't think I spend my money very often, so I assume I have some money.
Yeah, you don't pay rent or anything like that, so yeah, you've got some petty cash.
Hey, here's like 500 oolongs. Sorry for earthbending you, but don't call me Bubkiss. I got a temper.
Yeah, you offer this guy $500, and he looks at it and he goes, his eyes like boing out of his head, and he goes, I think we can forget about this for the time being. You know what? You look like you've had a rough day. Maybe you should go home and get some rest, kid.
I like that idea, but I'm not gonna. I'm at the races.
I think we just discovered his Marty McFly version of calling him chicken. Bupkis.
What are you, Bupkiss?
I don't understand that word. I understand most words. I don't understand that word, so it makes me frustrated.
Yeah, now, Chen and Grandma Halmeoni, what have you been doing this entire time?
Well, about 30 minutes later, I come back as Chen.
What a trip, man. You good?
I come back, I'm just like, oh boy, okay. Hey, where'd Marion go?
Oh, yes. He went out to work on the pace cars for the racetrack.
Oh, yeah, I guess he has a job to do. I feel like, you know what? And then I turn around, I monologue out loud. I'm like, you know what? I have a job to do. I need to go protect this city. Only Spider-Man can do that. And I turn around and be like, I think I'm going to take the day off and go rest myself so that I can be prepared for my job tomorrow.
Shen, I have to ask, do you know that, like, when you think, you say the words, and we can hear them?
When I say words, you can hear them? Yeah,
Yes,
I assume so.
Your internal monologue is awful external, and I don't know if you're aware of that.
Wait, my internal monologue is external?
Yes, most people, when they think, the thought stays inside of their head. We hear everything.
That's just been a thing I've been since I was a kid. There's so much going on in my head that I have to say it out loud to think it and process it. I didn't know anybody else could hear me, though.
Oh, well.
I'm usually pretty discreet.
No, just whisper. I think if you whisper, it'll be more or less the same. Kind of loud.
Okay. I mean, it's just weird that nobody else has brought this up, you know?
Well, I think
out of my 20-somewhat years.
It's an awkward thing. You know, no one wants to be the guy to say, hey, that's a pretty weird thing you're doing, but it's a pretty weird thing you're doing, so, you know, just...
I didn't know it was, not very normal for other people to not say...
Don't you have to go take the day off or something? What are you doing here still?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. And thank you, Grandma Halmeoni. I will see you tomorrow.
Anytime. Give your grandma kisses.
I just like blow bubbles in the tea.
I'm in the suit. I'm not in a cup.
Oh, you're in the suit. Okay, I'm like, what do you want me to do? I kiss the robot on what it looks like a cheek.
Oh, thank dearie.
and then I run out and find a place to change into Spider Batman.
All right.
And then I'm just gonna go on patrol and just kind of like air out my thoughts. And I monologue out loud still. I'm just like, ugh, I have to protect the city, but I don't know if I can by myself. First there was just random gangs everywhere, and now there's the Grey Lotus has come back, and now I have to fight the spirit world. I mean, I don't know what one Spider Batman can do. I just feel so alone in my thoughts. And then I turn around and I see some kid looking at me. I'm like, stay in school, and then I run away.
And the kid goes, school? Ew. And turns in the opposite direction and starts walking away.
Spider Batman's lame.
Yeah, so I think at this point, before we get into the next bout of exciting energy, we forgot to ask growth questions after our last little job that we had there. Let's go ahead and do that real quick before I set up some stakes for what might happen next.
Okay.
So starting with the questions for the entire group, did you learn something challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world?
Oh yeah, so complicated right now.
For sure.
Yeah, a couple things.
Only continues to get more complicated, ain't that the way?
Ain't that just the way?
So everybody can go ahead and mark experience for that one.
Cool, that brings me up a level.
Me too.
Nice. Let's continue with our questions, and when we get to the end of those, we will do our advancement as well.
Love it.
Next, did you stop a dangerous threat or solve a community problem?
I mean, yeah, we stopped the flood from us killing us and Slim.
Yeah, you saved a citizen.
Yep.
True that.
What a life.
And third question, did you guide a companion towards balance or end the session at your center?
No.
I mean, I ended my session at my center. So.
I ended at my center as well.
All right. And now individual growth questions for Marion. Did you try to make amends for past mistakes or prove you're a different person now?
No, I actually got a little grumpy at this one guy. So
That is true.
I think I did the opposite.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, JP, did you resolve an issue or conflict relying on something other than your trainings?
I don't know, because I'm still going through an internal conflict.
Yeah.
So I don't think I did.
All right. And then Thomas, did you learn something meaningful about a new group or community?
I learned that I don't think I founded the Grey Lotus, but I helped.
Sure did. That is something meaningful. So we've got our two people who already mentioned that they completed, and JP, looks like you've got 4 ticks as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we get an advancement for everybody. Look at that.
Woohoo!
Does anybody know off the top of their head which one they want to go with?
I do.
I'm going...
But I'll let you go first.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'm going to shift my center, shift towards the center one step, bringing me to my center.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to say, like, as far as the in-universe reason for that, I'm going to say what Grandma Halmeoni told me has got me thinking.
All right. So your center is now at 0-0, but your connection track is still locked off. So while we're here, actually, let's take a quick moment. Do you want to roll to make amends?
No, it went bad last time, so I'm good.
Yeah, and the thing to keep in mind is this is always optional.
True.
But when you do want to make amends, keep in mind those questions that you add to for each yes you answer.
Right.
Did you make amends directly to a person you harmed? Are you at your center? Did someone honestly thank you for your efforts or forgive you for your mistakes? So if you haven't done any of those things, it might actually be in your best interests not to roll to make amends.
Yeah, it was a pretty neutral run. I've hit my center now, but I'm gonna hold off this level.
All right. Sounds good. And Thomas, do you have an idea of what you want to do?
Yes, I've opted to take a move from a different playbook.
Ooh.
I'm going with Out of Uniform from the Pillar playbook.
Ooh.
On that one, when I put on a disguised or physically altered persona to fool a community into thinking you're 2 different people, roll with creativity. On a hit, people mostly unfamiliar with you won't connect your 2 personas.
Oh my god.
On a 7 to 9, this is the last time you can pull this trick without them cottoning on. And on a miss, someone misidentifies me when I switch in a way that causes more trouble for me.
Okay.
Super cool.
We found a way to mechanize your head-switching mecha suit.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, very nice. And do you want to use this opportunity to change your third background or leave it where it is?
Absolutely not.
All right.
I desperately need this third background to stay the same.
All right, sticking with urban.
It's been going good.
It has been working surprisingly well for you.
Yeah.
All right, and then back to JP.
I don't know, because it's like, a lot of these moves are like, use a different approach, but all my approaches have +1, so it's like, what's the point of that?
You could always just add one to one of your stats.
I'm just gonna do that.
There you go.
Oh, another thing that I want to remind you guys about real quick is your moment of balance. That is another option when you advance, being able to unlock that moment of balance for a cool narrative moment in the future.
Oh, I want to do that.
Nice. Yeah, I've had my eyes on that. So that's basically like you put one, I guess, in the tank on a level up for that moment of balance. That's really cool.
Yeah, and so to remind our listeners how this works is your moment of balance is a narrative beat where you can kind of just Deus Ex Machina the scene.
That's so rad.
So the Foundling's moment of balance says, you've always struggled to find unity between your two halves while trying to honor their traditions. But true balance is about knowing that everything is part of a greater whole. One heritage cannot exist without the other, especially within you. Tell the GM how your new understanding lets you use both of your trainings to accomplish an incredible feat or vanquish an enemy that seems unstoppable. And you say it and it just happens.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the tank then.
That's so cool.
All right, so that is all of our advancement taken care of. Real quick, we're going to cut over back to the racetrack. Marion, you have just freed the racetrack boss from the ground that he's in, and Kimiko has decided that it's time to test the new pace car, and she leaves all of her bags and stuff in the back of it and pulls out this big RC controller and starts fiddling around with some of the switches and levers and starts driving around. And she's smiling as she's watching its progress, but then at one point she flips one of the levers to turn and the car does not turn.
Ooh.
And she looks down at the connection light and sees it's blinking, and she tries to push the brake button and the car does not stop. And she looks at you in a panic and says, "Somebody's hijacked the car."
Oh dear.
And that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh, dang.
We will get into that during our next session, but for now, thanks everybody for listening to ImpTab Avatar, and we'll be back next time with more adventures in the world of Varrick World. If you want more, go and subscribe, maybe even give us a review. We would be as happy as a racetrack boss who just made 500 big smackaroonies if you go ahead and give us a review on the podcatcher of your choice. We're also all over social media at Improv Tabletop, so if you'd like to connect with us there, maybe you want to talk with JP about why Shen Xiaoxing likes to monologue externally so often, don't be afraid to reach out. Now it's time to shout out our next batch of Sticker Club patrons.
Oh yeah.
And the patrons we're shouting out this week are Colin Greenwood, Elena Georgieva, and Elizabeth McDowell.
Woo!
All right.
Okay.
These are the other members of the pit crew who are making sure that the pace car driver who got into a terrible accident is having a nice chill time, bringing him his mocha lattes whenever he's feeling down in the dumps, making sure that he's got, whatever movers he wants to watch on TV, just keeping him in good spirits while he's waiting for both of his legs to heal from their multiple fractures. So thanks for helping to keep the spirits high, folks. We will have more Sticker Club patrons to shout out next week, and if you, dear listener, want to join their ranks, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/improvtabletop, where you can also get things like Discord access, biannual sticker packs, and more, such as our current ongoing patron-exclusive campaign, Miceborn, the Mouse Ritter Chronicles.
Squeak, squeak, squeaking.
Yeah, we are nearing the end of another arc with our dear friend Thomas Ryan as the guest player, and what's going to happen after that point, we'll just have to see.
Wahoo!
Now, let's do a round of plugs. JP, would you like to take that this time around?
Yeah, obviously, we have a sister podcast, I Cast Fireball, which Ned is a part of, and if you want to see Ned as a player instead of just the world builder, go check that out. It's really good. Another thing I want to shout out, I would like to shout out eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think that's something that I tend to forget. I tend to forget, and I forget my breakfast, and then I later regret it. So I would highly recommend doing that. Also, a big fan of meditation. I was just thinking about this just recently. I've been doing a lot of soul searching and stuff, and you can go on YouTube and find guided meditations, and seriously, if you just make it a regular habit to do it every morning and even every night and stuff, it radically changes your person, and it helps out a lot. So go do that, viewers. If anybody wants my favorite ones, I keep my favorite ones in a folder on my YouTube. I can share those. So if anybody has any interest in that, let me know.
Yeah, I really, really love doing guided meditations. A couple nice apps are Headspace and Insight Timer. I really enjoy both of those. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's wonderful. It's lovely. Highly recommend.
It's something that you don't think you need until you start doing it for a while and you start realizing, wow, I can be more calm and alive and appreciative of life and stuff. It really helps.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, meditation's not just for air nomads.
Nope.
It can be for you, too. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here in the world of ImpTab Avatar, Varrick World. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and I've been joined by...
Connor Wood, Angie at the racetrack.
Justin Porter, aka JP, and I am walking a lonely road, the only road that I have ever known.
I'm Thomas Ryan, and your grandma is scared.
Much love and stuff, everybody. We'll catch you next time on ImpTab Avatar.
I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll get this all sorted out. Don't worry.
Okay, do you have my cell phone number?
Oh, boy. Go and listen to the Mouse Rider Chronicles if you want to understand that reference.
Yeah, there are layers there.